Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Omega Bear. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. The links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this time he wanted me to talk about The Hustler from 1961. I kind of wish I would rather be reading a magazine issue of Hustler instead of watching this fucking film, because I did not like this film much at all. I don't know what else to say. I did not really give a shit about this film. I mean, I knew of the film. You have the sequel, The Color of Money, directed by Martin Scorsese in the 80s with Tom Cruise and Paul Newman. This one is got a good cast. Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason is in the film as Minnesota Fats, George C. Scott, Murray Hamilton, the guy who wouldn't close the beaches down in Jaws, he's in this. Piper Laurie, who I remember the most from Carrie. So it's a good cast. It's a very long film, over 2 hours long. The beginning was fine when you see how Paul Newman hustles these guys while playing pool, or he's getting more drunk and he's screwing up and he's with his buddy and he's losing these bets to his buddy. And hey, come on, we gotta hit the road. Oh, come on now. So eventually he makes a bet and the bartender and other people make the bet, but then he's able to make the trick shots fine because they've been hustled. And I don't mind the performances. I mean, Paul Newman, good actor. George C. Scott, I love George C. Scott. Exorcist 3, The Changeling. Hell, even the remake of 12 Angry Men. Like, so many times I just see him give these, like, powerhouse performances. He's fun in Doctor Strangelove. He's actually one of my favorite parts of that movie. So it's cool to see him. George C. Scott comes in a bit later as his gambler, who ultimately does give the money up for Paul Newman to get into some of these games. And by the end, to play Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason is this renowned pool player called Minnesota Fats. You see him early on when Paul Newman's character Fast Eddie plays him and is up 1,000 and is up thousands. But he won't back down, he keeps going, and then eventually loses it all. I think over like a 25-hour or so. The thing is, you don't see as much of the playing of pool as I would have thought with this kind of movie. I know that may sound stupid, but I love pool. If I could, I'd have my own pool table. I mean, I'm not good at it, but I love playing pool. That's the thing. I would love to have a pool table to practice a lot more. It's been forever since I played it, so I'd be absolute shit, but I love it. And like, if they show more of these scenes of him playing pool and the tension, and I'm not saying they don't show it at all, but like when they're playing with Jackie Gleason, you see some of it, but it seemed like if you're going for like 20 some hours, we should be seeing a lot more of these type of moments, and that there's ways to really ratchet up the tension. And he's doing well, but then he loses one, and then he missed this, and where the tides have turned and things are ratcheting up, and Paul Newman's getting more nervous. It seemed a lot more could have been done with that to really dial the tension up. And sometimes it's like, nah, it just all of a sudden he lost, or all of a sudden, like later on. Okay, real quick. He loses. He's winning, but then ultimately he loses to Jackie Gleason. He gets pissed. He walks away from his friend Charlie. He meets this girl Piper Laurie. They quickly fall in love. Charlie comes by, finds him, talks with him a bit. Paul Newman's still adamant to play Jackie Gleason again because he goes, I know I can beat him. Charlie says, well, we should do this, this, and this. Okay, let's do some other stuff and we'll do some hustles. I'll put some money. And Paul Newman's like, how? How can you do that? I thought you had no money. Well, you did have money. Oh, you son of a bitch, I could have beaten Jackie Gleason there if you gave me that money. First off, it's your partner, so it's not your money, it's both of his money. And you're already fucking losing already when you're up, what was that, one point like 18,000 or so? So, yeah, if you're up 18 or so thousand, then you lost all that shit, I wouldn't be giving you my fucking money either. Then he says, lay down and die by yourself. Don't take me with you. So he's an asshole. Charlie was the good guy, and Charlie got kicked out. And then to even be more of an asshole, Piper Laurie kind of calls him out on it, and he slaps Piper Laurie. Slaps her right in the face. And she's like, what are you waiting for me to do? Cry? Oh, you poor bum. I'm like, yeah, Paul Newman's Terror is an asshole. Which I know is the point because certain thing happens later on that made some wake up a bit, but it's too late. So I know that's where they're going with. So eventually, since he doesn't have Charlie anymore, he meets George C. Scott. And he's like, you know what? We saw him earlier calling Paul Newman's character a loser when he's talking to Jackie Gleason. But then he saw how talented this guy is. So he's like, hey, you got talent, but you don't have character. You know, I'll put up the money. I'm rich. I just like the action. So I did 75%. You did 25%. And pretty much Paul Newman says, fuck you. I'm not doing that. 25%. He tries to hustle more. He hustles the wrong people. He gets his thumbs broken. He heals up. Then ultimately goes back to George C. Scott and goes, well, 25% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Piper Laurie gets batshit crazy, saying, oh, you don't leave me, you're not going to come back. And here's one of the issues. I did not give a flying fuck about the Paul Newman Piper Laurie love story. This slow-paced melodrama where Piper Laurie has her issues, where she's an alcoholic, and she obviously has abandonment issues, among other stuff, and then Paul Newman has his issues, and I didn't give a fuck about the love story between these two, and that takes a good chunk of the movie. Like, the opening, 15 or so minutes is about the pool and that whole scene, and that's kind of interesting, but again, this melodrama of just him slapping her, or she's trying, blah, 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 and I did not give a flying fuck. And if I don't care about the love story between these two, then a good chunk of this movie I'm not going to give a shit about. Because that's what a lot of it was. And it's slow paced. At times it was fucking boring in the middle. Because I thought, okay, he's got George C. Scott. Now we're going to see a series of games where we see him playing or hustling or winning. Or you think he's losing and that's part of the hustle, then he wins. But you don't see that. You don't really see that type of montage in that format. Instead, George C. Scott sets up the money for Paul Newman to play Murray Hamilton from Jaws. And then you don't even see most of the game. You see Murray Hamilton start to play, then it cuts to, oh, Paul Newman's losing. And George C. Scott's like, fuck this, I'm done. And Paul Newman is mad. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, we didn't see most of what the fuck happened. Did Paul Newman fuck up? Was Murray Hamilton that good and Paul Newman didn't get a shot? What happened? And then Piper Laurie's like, listen, these guys are going to eat you up and spit you out. Paul Newman gets pissed at her. Then it cuts to, I guess, off-screen, Paul Newman beat Murray Hamilton. I mean, why was that done off-screen? It had to take me a full minute or two to realize, oh, wait a minute, he won? Because Murray Hamilton, he's getting drunk, and you can tell he's depressed, and why didn't we see the game? Why didn't we see Paul Newman? Okay, he's getting nervous, he's losing again, no, this is his time to shine, and he's able to do this, and you see Murray Hamilton, his facade break down a bit more, and break down a bit more, and break down a bit more. But no, you don't get to see any of that. You don't need to see the action of it, the possible tension that you get from it. Playing pool of that stature. Then spoilers, Paul Newman goes back to the room after he wins. George C. Scott had seen her and given her some of the money and said some bullshit to her. She writes in the mirror about how these people are perverted and all this other stuff. Paul Newman comes by and sees that she's dead. She ended her life. I'm sorry if this sounds dumb. I still don't get why the fuck she ended her life. I really don't get that. Like, if you're worried about Paul Newman, don't you want to stick by him to help him get through this? If she said Paul Newman's going to throw her away, I guess to be fair, neither of them were treating her that well. And I guess instead of just... I'm guessing abandonment issues and her not wanting to be alone and... Because, yeah, I mean, when he was going to leave, she's like, oh, I'm just supposed to be here waiting for you? And... yeah, she definitely had issues. So I'm guessing that's why. So maybe that part of the movie was explaining that. So maybe I won't blame it on the movie. I just blame it on myself not giving a fuck about this fucking relationship. Because I did not give a fuck. And then when he goes up against Jackie Gleason, like, this seems like this should be like where the tension really ratchets up. And then you realize it's not really about the playing of the pool. He plays Jackie Gleason and he wins easily and there's no drama. You barely see any of the pool action. It's just... I guess that's the point. That doesn't mean anything anymore. He just talking to George C. Scott and we really turned the screws on her, didn't we? And, I pit this over her and then he easily beats Jackie Gleason. Then George C. Scott wants all the money and Paul Newman, I guess he's going to keep all the money. And George C. Scott's like, well, I can have these people hurt you. And Paul Newman goes, oh yeah, if they beat me, they better kill me. Because if they don't, I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill you. And then George C. Scott's like, okay, but never be in another pool hall again. Which it just then leads to the sequel, The Color of Money. I just didn't give a fuck about this movie. Did not give a fuck. I thought the actors were there, but goddamn, was this story so slow, so boring, and its melodrama, that I did not find that intriguing. The pool action, I thought, could have been a lot more. They could have done a lot more. Again, rising tension, suspense, actual... like, you see some of it, but to me, not nearly enough. Listen, this may be an unpopular opinion. You just say I hate everything. I can name you 50 movies on the AFI list. If they did a top 200 or top 1, I can name a bunch I enjoy. Hell, Paul Newman. I like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What was that one I saw? I can't remember the damn name now. George C. Scott, I mentioned a bunch I liked with him. I'm curious, the films, if this works, just the films of 1961. What films came out in 1961? What was big in that time period? The Guns of Navarone, West Side Story, 101 Dalmatians, El Cid, The Absent-Minded Professor, The Parent Trap, Lover Come Back, Teen of Teens. Huh. To be honest, a lot of those I haven't seen other than the 101 Dalmatians. I'm just curious. Okay, films in 1960s. Seeing, like, there's a list. I mean, A Fistful of Dollars I like. 2001: A Space Odyssey I like. The Birds I like. for a few dollars more. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid I mentioned. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Rear Window I like. Dr. Strangelove, I mentioned that. I Don't Mind the Wild Bunch. Dr. No. Goldfinger. I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen a whole lot of movies from this decade. Because what did I say? I was born in '83, and I'm watching at that time movies from the '80s or '90s, so that's going to be more where my knowledge rests upon. I love The Odd Couple, the original. So, yeah. Listen, you guys can think whatever you want. If you like the film, that's fine. That's just my opinion. Take that for you will. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And actually, one quick thing. I want to look at what was the Paul Newman film I was thinking of that I did not mind back in the day. So I'm sorry. I just want to see if I can find that out. Okay. HUD. That's what it was, HUD. I reviewed that, and that I didn't mind. That I did not mind, HUD. I thought that was an interesting film. With some really good looking shots. Good actors as well. So yeah, HUD. That was the name of it. So there's another one, HUD, I liked. A pretty decent movie. If I stop stuttering. So. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.